Hey friends, Tony here from TL Yarn Crafts, and in this video we're practicing the Tunisian Crochet brick stitch, which is one of my personal favorites. If you're excited to learn this Tunisian crochet technique with me, be sure to like this video and consider subscribing to my channel for even more crochet tutorials, free patterns, and product reviews. For this tutorial, I'm using a 6.5mm Tunisian crochet hook and 2 colors of worsted weight yarn. The brick stitch is worked over a multiple of 4 stitches plus 1. For my sample, I'm working over 17 stitches. So we're starting here with our first color, which is this gray, making a slip knot. We'll put that slip knot on our hook, tighten down, and chain 17. So yarn over, pull up a loop for 1, there's 2, 3, 4, all the way to 17. All right, so once we've got our 17 chains, we're actually going to flip that chain over, and on the back of it, you're going to see these little bumps, and that's what we're going to work into as opposed to the front of the chain. So flip your chain over. We're going to skip this first chain here and pull up a loop in the back bump of the second chain. So inserting under the loop, yarn over, pull up the loop, and we're going to keep that loop on our hook. Insert under the next bump, yarn over, pull up a loop. Insert under the next bump, yarn over, pull up a loop. Insert, yarn over, pull up a loop. And we're going to do that for each chain down the line, and we'll know we did it correctly if we end up with the same number of loops as on our hook as the number of chains that we had in our starting chain. So I started out with 17 chains, so at the end I should have 17 loops on my hook. Couple more here. Insert, yarn over, pull up the loop. One more, insert, yarn over, pull up the loop. Let's do a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. So we're good to go. Now we're going to do our return pass. So I'm going to yarn over, pull through 1 for a chain 1, and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, until I have 2 loops left on my hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, until I have 2 loops left on my hook. Just like that. I'm going to drop my gray. I'm not going to cut it, just drop it. I'm going to grab my second color, which is this rosy pinky purple, leaving a long enough tail to weave in later. I'm going to yarn over my hook and pull through those last 2 loops. So here for row 2 of the pattern, I'm just going to simple stitch across the row. This first loop counts as our first stitch, so we're going to skip this first vertical bar. We're going to go in the next vertical bar, insert our hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop. And we'll do that for each vertical bar across the row. Insert, yarn over, pull up a loop. Insert, yarn over, pull up a loop. Again, leaving those loops on our hook. Insert, yarn over, pull up a loop. Insert, yarn over, pull up a loop. All the way across the row. We'll do something slightly different on that very last stitch. So on this last stitch, if we rotate our work towards us, we can see that we've got a front loop and a back loop on that last stitch. We want to make sure our hook goes through both of those loops. So I'm just going to take the pointy end of my hook here, shimmy on under those 2 loops, yarn over, and pull up a loop to complete that stitch. At the end of this and every row, I should still have 17 loops on my hook because that's how many chains I started with. Now to do my return pass, I'm going to yarn over, pull through 1 for a chain, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're going to do that until we have 2 loops left on our hook, because we'll be changing back to gray at the end of this row. All right, I've got 2 loops left on my hook. I'm going to drop my purple, and I'm going to grab my gray, yarn over my hook, and pull through those last 2 loops. So to begin this row, we're going to Tunisian simple stitch 3. So this first loop counts as our first stitch. We're skipping this first vertical bar, Tunisian simple stitch in each of the next 3 stitches. So here's 1, 2, and 3. Next, we're going to do a long Tunisian front post double crochet. It's a lot easier than it sounds. Here we go. We're going to yarn over, and we're not going to work in this next vertical bar. We're actually going to find the front and back bar of the stitch 2 rows below. So here's 1 row below, here's 2 below. The 2 loops we're looking for are these right here. So we're going to insert from front to back around those 2 stitches, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And that's our long Tunisian front post double crochet. So now we're going to Tunisian simple stitch the next 3 stitches. So here's 1, here's 2, and 3. Long front post double crochet goes here, yarn over the hook, making sure we catch both loops of that stitch 2 rows below, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Simple stitch 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we've got our post stitch, yarn over, making sure we catch both of those loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So we've got 4 stitches left here. We're going to Tunisian simple stitch the next 3, and then work our last stitch, again making sure that we pull up a loop in both loops of that last stitch, insert, yarn over, pull up the loop. And now we want to do our normal return pass until we've got 2 loops left on our hook. Start with a chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2, through 2, just until we've got 2 loops left on our hook. Just like that. Dropping our gray and grabbing our purple, yarn over, and pull through these last 2 loops. So with our purple, again, we're just going to Tunisian simple stitch across the row. For our very last stitch, we want to make sure we grab both loops of that last stitch. Then we'll do our return pass until we have 2 loops left on the hook. Go ahead and complete this row. Join me back here when you're ready for your color change, and I'll show you the next row of the pattern. So I'm back here at the end of this row. I'm going to drop my purple, grab my gray, and now we're going to do the next row of our brick stitch pattern. We're going to Tunisian simple stitch the next stitch, and then we're going to do our post stitch. So again, we're looking for the stitch 2 rows below, starting off with a yarn over, making sure we catch both loops of that stitch, going from back to front around those, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Then we're going to go back to doing Tunisian simple stitch 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then the long front post double crochet. Simple stitch 3, 1, 2, 3, and then our post stitch, yarn over, pulling up a loop under both of those loops of the stitch 2 rows below, yarn over, pull through 2. Simple stitch 3, there's 2 and 3, and then a post stitch. We've got 2 stitches left. We're gonna simple the next stitch, work our last stitch, making sure we catch 2 loops here. Yarn over, pull up the loop, chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2 until there's 2 loops left on the hook. At this point, of course, we would grab our rose color, yarn over, pull through 2, simple stitch across the row. changing color. And this row is a repeat of our post stitch row from down here. So we simple 3, 1, 2, 3, and then our post stitch. So going 2 rows down, yarn over, pull up that loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Simple 3, post stitch, simple 3, post stitch. We are at our last 4, so we're going to simple 3 and work our last stitch, making sure we catch both loops of that last stitch. Yarn over, pull up the loop, chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2 until there are 2 loops left on the hook. Changing color. So for this row, we start with just 1 simple stitch. We've got a post stitch, making sure we catch both loops. Yarn over, pull through 2, simple 3, post stitch, starting with a yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, pull through 2. 1, 2, and 3. Post stitch, 1, 2, and 3. Post stitch. After that last post stitch, you should have 2 stitches left. Simple the next stitch. Make sure you insert your hook under both loops of that last stitch. Pull up a loop, chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and so on. So you'll want to repeat those 4 rows till you get to your desired length. I like to end with one of my post stitch rows so that my foundation row and my very last row, the colors match. But that, my friends, is the brick stitch. This video was made as a supplement to the brick stitch square as part of the Tunisian holiday sampler blanket. To get the row by row instructions for the brick stitch square and learn more about this free sampler Afghan pattern, visit the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.